Today I'm going to be demonstrating the producer component of SAP's Workforce Performance Builder, a content creation tool that allows you to generate learning content to distribute across your organization. From Producer, I'm going to be recording the process of sending an email in Outlook, a fairly quick and simple process, but one that is familiar to the majority of people. And from this single source of recording, I'm going to show you how to generate multiple different document styles and formats, as well as simulations so the end user can watch the simulated process within a browser. In order to record an application process, I need to create a new project, which can be done in multiple ways. I'm going to choose the icon on the toolbar to create a new project. I then get the opportunity to give it a project name. So I'll call this sending an email, and if I have pre-configured templates in the background, I can choose one of these to allow pre-embedded and pre-configured options within the project so that they conform to enterprise-wide standards. I have the choice of over 40 languages that I can record in. I will stick with English, and I have the project type of simulation, because I'm going to be generating the simulations from the content I capture. I have the option of making this an audio project, which will allow me to overlay voice or music on top of the simulated recording. If I don't choose to make it an audio project at this stage, but later decide I'd like to make it an audio project, I can convert it at the click of a button. I say OK to this, and I'll get a new screen open with a tab called Sending an Email, but it is empty because I've yet to record any processes. You'll notice my toolbar at the top has a completely new set of icons, the one that stands out the most being the big red button in the middle, which is the button I choose when I'm ready to record my application. When I click on the Record Application button, Producer will suggest to me that I'd like to record one of my open applications. I will choose Outlook, and when I do, the profile below will validate in the background, and it will find that I have a predefined profile for Outlook, which will guarantee near perfect recognition of the elements I select during the recording. So I click on Outlook. As you can see, it opens my Outlook, and the profile is found that it's Outlook 2010. When I click on Record, I'll get a new toolbar at the top, my recording toolbar, which is sitting at green as it's ready to record. The application is now just waiting for me to make my first action, click on my first button, and it will capture that step. The profile you can see is Outlook. The reason this is nominated here is because if I switch between applications during my recording, it will switch profiles accordingly. I also have the option of pausing and stopping the recording. This doesn't have to be a perfect one-take recording. I can stop it and go and review what I've already done and start recording again at any stage within that project. I can pause it and go off for lunch, go to a meeting, and when I come back, I can just take up where I left off. As I say, this will sit green until I start an action. As I am doing my actions, you'll notice that it will flick between green as it's ready to capture the next piece of information and red as it's capturing that information. But this will be in near real time, therefore not interrupting my live day-to-day work if that is what I'm doing. So, as I say, I'm going to send an email. So I select New Email, and I'm going to make this high importance. And then rather than typing in an email address, I'm going to click on the To button to access my address list. I'm going to search for the user WPB and say Go. And when that user is found, I'm going to say that this is who it's going to be to. And then I say OK. At this stage, I can enter a subject, because I'm just going to send it, at which point I'll get a warning that I have no subject, and I'm going to choose to send anyway. So I've now created and sent an email. I'm happy. That's the process that I wanted to record. So when I click on stop, it will minimize Outlook and it will return me to my producer screen. As we can see within my sending an email project, where it was previously empty, I now have a lot of content. On the left-hand side, I have my preview slides, familiar to users of PowerPoint. And if I select this number 2 here, you'll see that in the main area, this is the larger preview screen, and it has the screenshot as well as the highlighted button that I chose and the action that I performed. At the bottom of the screen, I have my macro editor. At the moment, it's the screenshot that is live, so the elements below are relative to the screenshot. If I choose what's called the bubble, the speech bubble, then the editing elements will be different, which allow me to add in extra information or resize the highlight. That would be relative to the profiles I spoke about earlier, or add in any different elements that I'd like to. On the left-hand side, you'll notice I have some black boxes on my screenshots. These are the cropping that is purely for the documentation we can create, which allow us to create neater, smaller documents. For the simulation, the end user will be opening in a browser, so the size of the screen doesn't matter. From this recording, I can now launch 4 different types of simulation. The demo mode, where the end user just watches it. It's a process maybe they've never seen before, and they just want to get familiar with the process. That's the demo mode. The practice mode, the user will be prompted with the action that they need to make, but they will have to physically click on the button and perform those actions, albeit within a simulated mode rather than the live environment. The test mode expects the end user to be pretty confident with the process now, and it will offer them no help. It will open a browser of a simulated environment, and they will have to perform the actions with no prompts, and they can be tested and marked on those scores. The concurrent mode is a simulation mode that can be launched while the user is in a live application to hold their hand through the process if they just are lacking in some confidence. As well as the simulations, from this single source of recording, I can also generate 9 different types of Word documents, different templates in the background with different elements within them, the same for PDF, the same for HTML, and I can also generate PowerPoint documents. At this stage, I can also, as a learning development user, I can embellish the content. So as well as, for instance, clicking on new email in here, I might tell the user why they're clicking on new email. This is to launch I can pretty much write anything I want in here. A complete essay. I have standard Word functionality for fonts and bold and underlining, etc. From here, I can also create links to other objects. So if I have configured documents, have learning content within other documents, Word documents, Excel, PowerPoint documents, or if I want to integrate a link to a website so I don't have to reinvent content, I can do all that here. So if I say here maybe to access Google, click here, I can then insert a link to Google and the end user will be able to launch Google from there. And so, as I say, you're bringing resources in without having to reinvent them. I'll say open new window, say OK to this, and now there will be this link to Google that the end user can go to access different information. As well as this, on screens 3 and 4, I had exactly the same screen, and I clicked on 2 different elements, high importance and 2. From a documentation perspective, there's no need to take up 2 screenshots when the screen is actually exactly the same. So what I can do is merge these 2 screenshots, so the highlight and the action from number 4 will actually go up to number 3, and I get rid of one whole screenshot, saving paper and ink. I select these using standard Windows functionality of control and click, and then by right-clicking I can choose Merge Selected New Page Macros, and what you will see is now on the one screenshot we have the two different actions, thereby reducing the size of the document and making it less daunting for the end user, as well as saving on the resources as mentioned. Those are some very basic post-editing functionality that I've just shown you. From here we can create the document just by clicking on one of these options. So I'm going to click on a standard PDF document, and what it will do is it will generate it in the background by pulling in all of these different elements, the look and feel of these speech bubbles, the highlights, etc. All of this is customizable. If you'd rather have green highlights, that's not a problem. We can do all of that. Do I want to open the generated document? Yes, I do. And so now you can see I have a very professional looking PDF document which can be customized according to your company. I have my table of contents, and then I have my cropped screenshot with the highlighted action, and below it tells me what it is I have to do. You'll notice the extra elements that we added in, the extra text is there, and if I use control and click, I can open Google from this action. If I go back to my document and scroll down to the next page, we'll see that we have our merged screenshot. So rather than having two screenshots, we have 2 and 3 specified on the same screenshot. This can be saved locally, but just through the act of generating this, it will be saved against the project. So I have automatically, from that single source of recording, my 4 simulation modes, and currently my standard PDF document. If I want to generate another document, it's as simple as clicking on one of the other options to generate that document, and it will automatically be saved against the project. If I want to view my simulation mode, I can click on demo mode in this instance, and it will play back with me not touching any of the buttons, and it will automatically go through showing the end user, the new user presumably for demo mode, what it is that they need to perform, the actions they need to perform to complete the process of sending an email in Outlook. So as I say, I'm not touching the keyboard at all. This is going through automatically. Currently it's pre-configured to go through at 3 seconds per action, but all of this is customizable on a global or an individual level to make the end user get the most from the experience of watching the demo mode. I can close that now, and it will return me to Producer. This is a very short presentation of the capabilities of Producer, the content creation tool from SAP's Workforce Performance Builder.